Right, welcome back. It's talk time on TVC Breakfast. Now, the insurgency in the northeast states of Borno, Adamawa and Yobe has pushed many residents out of their comfort zones. The destructive activities of the Boko Haram group have left several people dead and millions of people have been displaced from their homes, and the numbers continue to rise. Now, scattered across the country and in neighboring countries, these internally displaced persons who are living in camps are worried about the plans that have been put in place to make sure that they exercise their civic right, which is voting and deciding in turn who will rule over them for the next 4 years. Now, the dilemma over the possibility of excluding internally displaced persons in the forthcoming Nigeria elections throws a new light on the quest for free, fair and credible elections. Now, what's the fate of the internally displaced persons in the 2015 elections? Will they be able to vote? Well, that's a question we are going to try as hard as possible to look at on the show today. And in the studio here with me is a political analyst as well as a social affairs commentator, Dokun Adedeji. Good to have you with us.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Yes, morning. Thank you. Now, of course, you are aware of the situation we have in terms of internally displaced persons.
Absolutely.
As a matter of fact, statistics show that about Nigeria has about 3.3 million, and they rank about third, highest number on a global scale. But before we go any further, I'd like us to take a report first of all, and then we'll continue.
Okay.
The frequency of attacks on these towns and communities has caused thousands to leave their homes and flee to safer states. Most times, they end up in camps like this, which is widely known as camps for the internally displaced persons. These camps are meant to provide shelter, food, and clothing. It is almost amazing that some of these camps are just minutes away from the city center, situated in the heart of the nation's capital of Abuja. Taking a drive to one of the camps, in an area called New Kuchingoro, what greeted us was the stench of the obvious lack of proper waste facilities. The only thing provided here was the land they used to build these makeshift houses on. We could not find anyone here who could speak a word of English or understand it. Many here have sour tales to tell, harrowing experiences when the insurgents came and changed their lives. They have been here for many months, living daily with all the hurt and sadness of having to leave their homes without nothing.
We want a peaceful election without any trouble or violence. And may God bring a change through someone who can bring back our homes in Maiduguri.
But another shocking aspect here is that many do not even have their voters card, but would be willing to vote in the upcoming 2015 general elections.
The government need to do something. Now that we are supposed to vote, we don't have what to use for the election, and no one has come to talk to us about the voters card.
We have not been given anything to vote with. We are registered in Borno. We have also collected our cards, but when our homes were burnt, the cards got destroyed in the fire, and up till now, no one has told us how we are going to vote, and we want to vote. I have collected my card, and I have it with me. I will use it to vote.
But they feel the government has not done enough.
The government does not even know there is a problem in the country. When you look at the population of people now, it is a lot less than it used to be. We just need someone who will have pity on the masses.
For now, their lives revolves around this camp, even though it lacks all the facilities and comfort. They are looking forward to brighter days after the elections come and go.
Wow. You saw the report yourself. Very disheartening.
Very disheartening.
Really.
Very.
Now, some of them say that they've got their cards, while the others say theirs were destroyed in, Inferno or whatever, they lost theirs and all of that. Is there a chance that these IDPs will exercise their franchise?
To be honest with you, apart from the fact that this is extremely disheartening, it's difficult to know. I mean, it's difficult to say specifically that these people will be able to vote. If us, the regular people that are not displaced, are not sure to vote, how will you speak about those who have been internally displaced? You see, because it speaks to our total disorganization as a nation. And these things are a disgrace to any nation aspiring to world international level. And then to speak about ordinary voting. I mean, in other places, voting is taken for granted except you choose not to vote. Well, look at what is happening. This is almost like 10 days to election. Nobody is sure whether we're going to have an election. And so the internal displaced people are in the same category with those of us who have cards.
Now, how some of them, as we listened in that report, did say that government hasn't really done enough. Do you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, look at the camps. Were those camps prepared for them, or they made as makeshift? Look at it. They were just like polythene bags stuck together to make living quarters for people. Even in Syria, there's a war that the whole world knows is full-scale war. Look at the refugee camps, or for the people internally displaced or externally displaced somehow. I mean, this is a disgrace to Nigeria. Believe me, it's not about being partisan. If people really want to be honest, we're just living a lie. I mean, that is a sure disgrace. Those people are not catered for. Look at how they're coming out like rats. I mean, no, honestly.
As the reporter said, of course, the moment they got into the camp, they were greeted by
stench. I mean, you will know that place, maybe as they said, it's just space. It's just space. They got into space and they began to make their shelter themselves. Because those are not things created by government. I can bet you, people think one is critical of this government. They're not doing anything for this country. I mean, look at people. These are Nigerians, for crying out loud. Look at the way they're living in their own country just because they were displaced by reason of Boko Haram. Nobody cares for them. There's no post. You will see that there are officials looking after these people. What if they fall ill? What if, let's just stretch the imagination, no matter how silly it sounds, that there's one case of Ebola in that place. Just imagine it. I mean, how do we treat ourselves like this? It's terrible.
And to think that it is situated around
Abuja,
the nation's
not too
capital,
far from Abuja.
a seat of government.
A seat of government. If, for instance, an international correspondent goes there and take pictures and put it on CNN, they'll be saying, "Oh, they don't like us." As Nigerians, am I happy to have that? Am I proud to say that is my country? Those are my Nigerian fellows. Honestly, this is just the limit.
Well, is it possible could it have been possible to make an arrangement for them, just as they are in those camps, for them to exercise their franchise?
Honestly, to be honest, I'm not sure it's possible. I don't know how it's something that they should be able to do. But if the government cannot provide things as basic as sanitary, that people can use the toilet, they can clean up themselves, how in God's name would they make an arrangement for those people to vote? These people have been consigned to just the perimeter of civilization in our own country. I don't know how government wants to do it. It's not that it's impossible, but it would take this government. The government, I don't think, wants to do anything for anyone. If they don't do for you and I, how would they do for the people living in camps? I mean, as the documentary shows. It's not that they can. I'm sure they can, if they really want to. But if they can provide these people basic things, and nobody has come to even speak to them about the predicament and the situation they find themselves, Who is going to talk to them about election in next week? Next week, Saturday. It's terrible.
So is there a sense in which you can say the government is, relaxed in its manner of, going about this election things?
Without prejudice to whatever their intentions are, I read what Atiku Abubakar said. He said, watching the body language of the president, he doesn't want an election. And it's obvious. Look, Israel knew they were going to vote 2 days ago. They had known this for months, and it was so sacrosanct that it was going to happen. Tell me any Nigerian today who can tell me there will be an election next week, Saturday. There is none. So it just speaks to, honestly, I'm dismayed. And it makes me feel so pained as a Nigerian that we have a country with all the noise, the rhetorics about biggest economy in Africa. Look at us. We're groveling in the dust of civilization. And then we honestly, I don't know what to say. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. I mean, if I really want to be crude with what I say, we don't have a government. That is the basic thing I'm just going to say. Where's government in my life? I don't see it. I generate my light. I generate my water. We tie the roads leading to our street. Tell me, what is the role of government? So where is government in my life? And where is the government in the life of these people? These unfortunate people who it wasn't their fault. There was a Boko Haram. Honestly.
Now, the House of Representatives, of course, did review the Electoral Act of 2010 just to ensure that they empowered INEC to make sure that these internally displaced people are not, disenfranchised, that their needs are accommodated in terms of exercising their franchise. Do you think that INEC, with the short time that we have, INEC can, latch on this and ensure that this is done?
For me, one of the greatest deficits, number one, about INEC is the fact that it's not truly independent. Their sources of fund is not independent. The choice of commissioners or whoever is not independent. So you will find they may want to do it. They may want to do it, really. But the thing is, are the funds available? The wherewithal, the empowerment to do this?
Right.
Because if you look at it, a lot of things needs to be done in this place.
Okay, sorry, Larry, if I may interrupt you. I understand we have a call on the line. Do we have a caller? All right. Okay, we have a correspondent now in Yobe State to tell us more about these internally displaced people are here. Okay, it's not there at the moment, but I understand we're working as hard as possible to bring on our correspondent in Yobe to tell us more about the situation of internally displaced people in Yobe. As soon as we're able to connect to him, we will ensure that he tells us what's going on there. Right.
If you look at it, if for instance I learned there was a time INEC asked for extra funds, one thing or the other, should it not have been like an agency that presents its own budget to National Assembly, and that is then guaranteed that they're giving the money? Because this is an additional responsibility for INEC in the sense that they didn't plan for this, but now this had to be done. They now need to create awareness for these people, make sure that those who are truly registered, who collected their cards, who lost it because without any fault of theirs, can have another or have a means of voting. Where are the structures there? I think it was Minima, the chief of army staff or whatever, that said, oh, the political structures are not there. So obviously, they're preparing the ground to tell us that these people are not likely to vote. I mean, that you see, the thing is, the level of interference in the working of INEC is abysmal. It was Dasuki who said to us that PVCs or whatever are not ready, so the elections will be postponed. Then again, there is Minima that is saying to us that because the political structures are not there, that will take some time to put it in place, that these people, I mean, those are the kind of manipulations that you can see. So, to be honest, if INEC had been allowed to do its job, I know they can do this. These people can actually vote.
Okay.
If they can.
All right, I understand their correspondent is back on the line now. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. How are you today?
I'm fine.
All right. Can you tell us about the internally displaced persons there, Michael?
It's quite unfortunate in Yobe State there is no provision for the internally displaced persons. But there is no provision for it. But a lot of them are staying with well-wishers. Some of the rich people in the state accommodated them, and some are staying with friends and family within the state. And in terms of the forthcoming elections, some of them came out massively to collect their PVCs in various centers, because now that they are displaced, they can't go back to their place. The INEC official provides special centers for the displaced people to go and collect their PVCs in Yobe State. So each of the local government, like Gujiba, Gonori, Golani, in fact, and Boniadi, some of them, provision center has been provided for them to go collect their PVCs for these forthcoming elections in Yobe State.
All right. You said that some of the well-to-do people in the state have accommodated some of these internally displaced people. But what about the government, the state government?
Yeah, that is what I said. The state government, they are doing their best. They provide relief materials for them. I think there's a particular place they will assemble and they will distribute the material to them. But there is no special center for displaced persons in Yobe State. So that has been a challenge anyway to locate them, because they are just scattered within the state. They are staying in different places. So it has been challenged to assemble them. But whenever there is something, they call them to the NEMA office or an official place to distribute relief materials for them.
But is there a reason that the government hasn't been able to provide a specific camp for these internally displaced persons?
Sorry?
Is there a reason that the government hasn't been able to provide a specific camp for these internally displaced persons? Is there a reason that the government hasn't been able to do that?
The last chat I had with the NEMA officials, they were not able to give me a cogent reason for that. I don't know. But we are still. Some of them are not happy about that, because it has not been easy for them to stay with people. Some of them are inconveniencing other people, and the NEMA official did not give me cogent reason why an official place has not been given to these people to stay. So it has been like that since the insurgency began.
All right, Michael, thank you very much for those updates. We will sure bring you back again to give us more updates on that development. But at the moment, we're going to have to take a short break and we'll be right back. Please stay with us. Welcome back. It's still Talk Time on TVC Breakfast. And of course, Dokun Adedeji, public affairs commentator, is still here with us. So looking at internally displaced persons and their chance of voting during the 2015 elections. And of course, we just got across to our correspondent, Michael Oshoma, giving us the situation report there in Yobe, telling us that the internally displaced people have no specific camp. They have no specific camp that if they want to get relief materials, they are called upon from the different hiding places to get the materials. And just as you were saying, Mr. Adedeji, shouldn't NEMA, National Emergency Agency, and the state government collaborate more to ensure that these people are properly cared for?
That should be the normal thing in any sane environment. That should be. If you remember what happened, that even Bush was pyloric for it in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Yes, you know, because there was no collaboration and it was so sordid the way it was done, and he was really rebuked as a president for it. And then thereafter, you could see what Obama did thereafter in other situations. That is the way emergency situations are handled, not this. That people need to be called home and called. Honestly, it's very painful and very disheartening. And people want us to be respected as a nation and as a people when you treat your people like this. So when you go for visas in the embassy, that's why they push you around. Because in your own country, you are treated like a fourth rate. So the embassy will say, if your government can treat you with so much disdain, hey, we can. I mean, this is sad. Very sad. Honestly, the people of your country, an emergency drove them, not that they chose to. Something happened to them that we were aware of. And as that thing was evolving, what was our preparation for it? And they call it emergency. And for how many years now this has been going on? We're still seeing people like this. It speaks a lot about the kind of people that we are, and then it speaks a lot about what kind of government we have. Very unfeeling.
All right. We have Ashuru on the phone. Good morning to you, Ashuru.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. Thank you for joining us. Please go ahead.
Fine, sir. My contribution is that number of displaced people in Nigeria now, the number of displaced people that we have is not even within Nigeria. We have it in Cameroon, Chad, and Niger. So Nigerian government seriously have to do something because they are all for Nigerians. If you see some of them are saying that they run into Cameroon, Niger by boat. You see that most of them that run from Baga to Niger. To Niger. You will see they say they used to use boat. Sometimes they use that boat and the water is too how will I say the water is too deep. Some of them, they know that they are about to start there. Some of them, they know that they cannot make it, but they have to run for their life because of what is happening there. While the Nigerian government is there sitting, doing nothing about it. I can remember the president last time went to Maiduguri and he has seen the refugees camp there inside Maiduguri and he didn't do anything about it. Seriously, we don't have a president, we don't have a leader. He's incompetent for me.
All right, please, when we talk about the president, let's be a little civil and choose our language more appropriately. Please, we beg you, if you call and want to talk about the president, please let's choose our words very carefully. Thank you very much for calling anyway. We do appreciate your contribution. Right. Of course, as the gentleman did say, we have some of these internally displaced people in Cameroon, in Chad. As a matter of fact, Borno State Governor Shetima went to visit some of them in Chad yesterday. And statistics that we have available show that the number is about 3.3 million, but the government is saying it's 980 something, million. All right, just before you respond, we have Mohammed on the phone now. Good morning to you, Mohammed.
Hello.
Hello, Mohammed. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Yes, thank you.
I want to make a little contribution what my colleague just said.
Yeah.
In your state, actually, we don't have a government I can see. If you go to the camp for this display, internet display people, you pity them actually. The governor do not even care to go and visit these people. They are suffering, and it's even a shameful thing for the whole state not to even organize a camp inside the state to at least have all these people. I participated in the institution of this IPC for blind people. The politicians actually converted these people to Sika. We gave them their activity. But the governor will not even care to visit these people in the camp to see how they are suffering. So actually, in your state, we are just like a taxi without a driver. The governor do not even care for these people. Even, well, actually, I don't know what to say, actually, because these people are suffering, and the governor, who is at least actually responsible for supplying all medical feet in the state. So it's really a shameful thing for the whole Europeans, actually.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you very much. What, Mr. Adede, situation report there as well.
Honestly, you said something just before the gentleman called. That estimate said 3.3. The government says about 900. I mean, what does this speak to you? Anyway, I'm not surprised. If a nation does not even know its exact population, and then we only guesstimate. Every time we want to do something, we guesstimate. Why would they not do the same? There are no camps for those people. You heard what the guy said from Yobe. People are just sleeping anywhere they have, with their friends, with families, with people, rich people, housing them. Does government have the number? Even when you call them to come and collect the article, do you know whether these are truly the internally displaced persons collecting? There are no records. I mean, for as long as we leave our country like this, honestly, I doubt if any nation will respect. That's why Chad, the president of Chad used to come and beg for everybody come to Nigeria with their begging bowls to see the Nigerian president. But today we go begging them to even help us fight people, terrorists on our own territory. And that's why you see them almost invading our territory. The president of Chad saying to us that if he did not fight the Boko Haram people, we will be sitting pretty on our butts and then watching until the whole country is overrun. I mean, it is simple. It's because of things like this. I'm sure the visitation to Chad yesterday, the camp there, we show a semblance of camp far beyond what we provided in Nigeria. If those people don't provide for us, I won't blame them. They will only do so under international conventions because it is just the right thing to do. But look at us, what we provide for our own people. So it's just shameful. That's the mildest word one can use.
Right, Kenneth Minima. All right, I understand that we have our correspondent now, Kolomi Dala. Hello, Kolomi. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yes, how are you today? All right, can you give us the situation? Yes, good morning, thank you. Can you give us the situation report?
What is the issue of Boko Haram in Nigeria? We have more problems in Boko Haram in Nigeria because if our leaders cannot
All right, this line is not very clear. Please, if you can, call us back. I thought it was our correspondent on the phone there, but if you can, please call us back. All right, Kolomi Dala, the line is acting up, but please try and call us back again so you give us the situation report there. Right, Mr. Adedeji, Kenneth Minima, the
Chief of Army
Chief
Staff.
of Army Staff only yesterday said he wasn't sure. With his words, that he wasn't really sure if those people, internally displaced people in the liberated areas, will be able to vote, because government structures would need to be restored in those areas, and that only INEC would be able to decide that.
Sometimes it takes a lot of restraint to speak in a decent manner about those people. Believe me, a lot of the restraint. Do these people know that we know that there was a war in Afghanistan when they voted? Do they think we understand that people in Iraq voted when they had such problems? This is not the first time in the world that situations like this will happen, and then there will be the need to vote. Those things were not disrupted. If you liberate, and if you have a camp, even before you liberate, even you have a camp, if you treated the people right, political structures can be established in the camps. Do you want to go to the city and begin to establish in how many days? It's impossible.
Okay. Sorry, let me interrupt. We have a call on the line now. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
morning.
Please go ahead.
Okay. What I want to contribute is the government is supposed to know all about the fate of the people. They are talking of state carrying people from camp in Medjugorje back to their local government. Okay. They don't think of these people are going homeless. Homes are burned. Their business places are burned. They are only talking for us in Borno to leave the camp, to go and vote for them, just to vote for them. They don't care of our welfare. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God.
You see.
All right. Thank you very much indeed for your contribution. Well,
God, what is patriotism born out of? If in Israel there's a war, not a war, there's a shooting, and an Israeli is killed, do you imagine how the government treats that? They treat it with and people. If there's a war, people travel from all over the world to come to Israel to come and partake in a war. Who will do that in Nigeria? I won't. This woman won't. She lost everything she had. She was taken to a camp that we saw. And then because you have liberated her, so you say go back. Go back to what? Go back to where? You say, what kind of indecency is this?
all right. We have Mohammed on the line. Good morning to you, Mohammed.
Hello.
Yes, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Morning.
I just want to contribute.
Yep.
The problem of these internally displaced people. So many things have been said about them. You are talking that they are not talking about election to election, but they said it is not possible for them to conduct election in the camp. How was it possible for them to distribute? Already cards have been distributed to these people that have been internally displaced. Already they have went to their camp, distributed the card to them. If they can be able to distribute the card to the internally displaced people, why is it possible for them to even conduct election in those camps? You cannot just come in and distribute cards and then come in just days to the election and say it is now the responsibilities of INEC to conduct. While it was the military that said they are shifting the election for 6 weeks before they want to liberate. Now that you are beating your drum that you have won the election, must you place political structures in those areas? How long will it take to place political structures in those areas? The war has been liberated for over 3 months now. Are people there? People want to go back to their places. The military does not even want them to go. I'm taking you now. Mongolia has been liberated. Nobody is going to Mongolia. Nobody is going to Damboa. This government, the truth of the matter is they don't want to conduct elections.
Absolutely.
And the body language has stated. I've been listening to your conversation. It is clear. If they want to conduct election, conduct it. If they don't want to conduct it, let them come out and tell the world that they don't want to conduct election. That is it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for your contribution. Mr. Adedeji. Well, it did make a very important point there that some of these camps, they went to distribute cards there. So how is it that they can't, conduct elections for them there?
Honestly, I said something at the beginning that when I quoted Atiku Abubakar. He said the body language of the president, and even indeed the government, does not show that they want an election. Believe me. And there's no way we should be running away from this fact. As I sit here with you, we know the election is 28th by date and by number. Nobody is sure that we will have it.
All right. Good morning to you. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Yeah, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Good morning, I'm Yakubu from Gombe.
Yes, Yakubu, thank you.
Yes, if you look at the issue of these internet displaced people, the truth of the matter, the suffering they are feeling now, they are disappointed in the leadership of this country. So, to deny them their right now to vote is like it's not being fair to them again. And most of them, they have the feeling that if they are given this opportunity to vote, they will vote out PDP and Jonathan because they are angry what is happening. That even Chad has to come intervene, help Nigeria with the situation we are now. It's very embarrassing. So the people now in that camp, most of them, they want to vote. The truth of the matter, please let them be allowed to vote. Let them vote. That is to do justice to them. So it's a democracy.
All right. Thank you very much, Mohammed, for your contribution. All right. Shetima, when he returned yesterday, his comment was that, look, these government officials in Abuja, that they have their families there, and it's the families of the poor that are displaced at the moment, and they are saying that these people should come back to vote. So he was saying that there was no way he would allow these internally displaced people to return just for the sake of voting. You agree?
Of course. Look, if a man that has lost his belongings, his dwelling place, has nowhere to sleep, you bring him just to come and vote in their town, where does he stay? The voting is the 28th. When does it come? Where does he stay? To where does he go to vote? Look, this is unbecoming of a nation. How do they want them to vote? If you can give numbers to them, if you can give materials to them in their camps, if they can go there to give them their cards and they sign for the cards, why can't they not vote where they are at the moment? Why should you transport them to come and vote? It's totally unreasonable. I don't see how we do things like this. It is obvious. One of the things that you begin to hear again in the next few days will be, there are no structures, no this, and you cannot disenfranchise a whole bunch of people. Can we move it another 1 week? It is still within the constitutional framework of May 29th.
All right, sorry, so that we don't lose Abdullahi. Good morning to you, Abdullahi.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Well done, sir. I'm calling from Yoga State.
Yep.
For this group. Sir, I want to ask Mr. Shetima, some refugees that were within that are traveling from Gujiba. So we are with them and they have yet not collected their TVC card. And they are proud they want to vote for. They want to vote, but they don't have the right to vote. How do they do? They are always asking me, what about them to calling? What about them to vote? How do they vote? How do they vote? They want to vote, but they don't know how to. They don't have TVC. I want to know something about it, sir, please.
All right. Thank you very much, Abdullahi.
I mean, in that case, if they are located, it said from Yobe, although we learned that there's no scheduled camp, but if people are in Yobe, and there is INEC is hearing this, INEC should make allowance for those to collect their cards within the time space that we still have. Maybe even work extra so that this will can. But you can read, you can hear the anger and bitterness in the voice of those people. That in my own country, I'm so shabbily treated and disregarded as a human being. It's such a shame. But I think INEC should still do its best. I know they are daily distracted by all kinds of talks, but they should just face the work and do it so that Nigerians can put in posterity that they did the best they could under the circumstances. All
right, I understand our correspondent Kolomi Dala is back on the phone all the way from Borno State now to give us update on the internally displaced people's situation there. Hello, Kolomi.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, please give us the situation report as far as the internally displaced people, persons are concerned in Borno.
Well, the internally displaced people are in about 13 camps in Medical area. They are all placed in schools where the schools have been occupied by them, and they are being provided with feeding, accommodation, and medical facilities. So they are actually in that camp for some time now, and they